can also see that thoughts are actually quite repetitive. Repetitive. Thoughts are repetitive. It's not that there seems to be so many thoughts, but if you really look carefully, it's just the same thoughts coming over and over. And there is a set of images that we carry, which are the source of all these thoughts. So if you really look at it all carefully, it's just, there may be an image related to the family, father, whatever, husband, wife, whatever. There may be an image related to work, an image related to one's interest in, let's say, politics and all the rest. There will be an image related to health, related to finances, and then an image related to spirituality also. And it's these images that are always operating. So it's always this dead image of the past that is constantly causing noise. We just have to see through it. And that is the intelligence of self-inquiry. What seems so bewildering is actually so simple, because it's just a bunch of images constantly cycling over and over and over. It's like one image comes, it wants to recharge itself through our brain cells, then it goes back to sleep, the next image comes, and this cycle goes on day after day. So when we sit in meditation, or when we are alert, which is to live in meditation all the time, we can actually watch this image come up right as it comes up. And when it comes up, and see how it takes hold, otherwise it won't take hold if you are alert. And every question comes out of this image only. Right? So even in the realm of spirituality, there can be a million questions, but the source is only one. So that is why Ramana Maharishi, for example, never answered the question. He only answered the questioner, because the questions can be endless. We can ask about yoga, about samadhi, about which samadhi, about what is prajna, what is this, whether it's free will, whether it's not free will, various scriptures, whether bhakti is better, jnana is better. I mean, there is just no end to these questions, right? But the reality is, every single question is coming out of memory, which is the false image of the me. So who is asking is the only question that ends all questions. So many people didn't like that question. They said, don't bring this question out. It ends the fun. Yeah. So all the scholars who came, they didn't like this question. They said, we want to have fun with all this endless pursuit of knowledge, but there is no end to that. But the one that ends everything is this Brahmastram, which is who is asking these questions. If you recognize that, then it drops. Every question, I cannot ask a single question about something I don't know about. And whatever I know is limited. So what's the point? Right? So every single question comes out of a finite amount of knowledge. And the finite amount of knowledge thinks it can grasp the infinite. It's impossible. So that's why he said, who's asking the question? So if you turn the attention back to that, question goes away, questioner goes away, there is only silence. It's so simple. And we simply empty. That's why we empty the mind of all this garbage, which is the collection of questions and images and all the rest, and then things fall in their right place. We can have knowledge for things that are necessary, but we don't need to get identified with anything. And when there is this emptying, then there is the natural revelation of the space within. See, it's either knowledge or experience. Those in the way of, let's say, yoga, they are all wanting experience, more sort of blissful experiences and so on, which may come and go, which can even come through drugs. And then those who are studying want more knowledge. So, yeah, both are only for the ego. See, memory and knowledge are very useful for the practical matters of life, right? All the things we do at work or home, operating this phone, all this needs memory. But the idea of me built through memory is the problem, right? So it is just this false image we associate with something that is ever changing, right? So that's why it's called the knot. Another way to look at it is a knot between the time and the timeless, right? That's the same thing, chit and jada. Time is jada, that is, it moves, it's always changing. And pure consciousness is timeless. And this false knot between the timeless and the time is the granthi. That is the me. And that has to go, because that is a fiction. Time has its own place to function. All the things necessary to do as we said. And timeless is ever present. But this interloper is the one who comes in between as the knot. So that has to be seen through as false, because that colors everything, right? That colors even the material energy, and it colors our pure essence. So it doesn't matter whatever the thought is, we can begin from where we are. We don't need anything. That's the beauty of this. That's why it's so simple in every way. We don't need a special place. We don't need anything. We have to be alert. And that requires a certain discipline, which is necessary. If we are, let's say, living a rather indisciplined life, it's hard, right? Because the mind doesn't have the discipline, alertness. That's why having the right posture, eating light, all that is good, because that's all necessary to have that alertness. But outside of that, it's so available every moment. If we sit silently and just take this curious attitude of what's coming up now, right? Whatever comes up, see what it is. It's not going to touch us the moment we are not identified with it, and then we are just free of it right there. Then the next thought may come. So that's why it's a constant alertness every moment. We cannot say that it is some kind of a fixed goal to attain. It is always to be alert and present.